told us to do it. Who told us?
You did.
I did. But you know who told me? The universe. I'll chalk it up to God because this was.
Chalk it up to God.
Go ahead and just hand off to you, hands up to you because look, this is a vibe. Thank you, ladies, for joining.
You're so welcome.
Are you ready for great conversation?
Always.
Nope. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Sakira, aka your favorite cosmic fairy, and today is the first episode of a podcast that I'm launching, and I decided to bring on two beautiful guests, Nichelle, Alysha. So I will give you guys long story short because we're not here to get into my tea with my sissies, right? We're here to talk about some real stuff, honestly, and I want to give you guys a little snapshot of who I know these beautiful ladies to be. So I'll start with you, Alysha. You are a beautiful, 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 masterful self-love coach.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And you are also a photo stylist.
I am.
Where you specialize in wardrobe and soft goods.
All things soft goods.
Beast at what she does.
I am.
If you're interested in connecting with her for any of her talents, abilities, capabilities, her offerings, I will have her listed in the description for you. My sis Nichelle, my good sis Nichelle. She is a masterful mind. She is such a creative spirit. She's such an ocean goddess. And she just launched her business, her LLC, Change the Lights, which is actually how we connected back in 2020.
She's right.
And that's a story for another time too, but she just launched her business. You will be planning events for people, planning events for your own company, and changing the lights one bulb at a time. So if you're interested in like seeing some intrinsic, really, really beautiful and really deep transformational, energy shift within you, she's your gal. And I will have her information linked in the description below. But now let's get into the tea. Like, I'm so ready, you guys. Like, this is the moment that I've waited for a couple of weeks because this has been in the making for a while. But I want to preface it with this, right? Like, what brought us together? And we know what the vibes is. It's our chemistry. Mm-hmm. Our chemistry has brought us together.
Yes.
And we are like a synergy of all good things. And I kind of want to lead the discussion with something that I feel like will be beneficial for those who are listening, those who are watching and tuning in, because you guys have such good insights. And I feel like people who are watching could learn and really gain some masterful things from both of you. So I want to ask you guys a question just to get the conversation rolling, get it started, right? I'll start with this. What was the biggest lesson you've learned, spiritually speaking, in the last year? Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Yeah. You'll go first?
Yeah. Lordy.
Talk to Amish. What's up?
Okay, well, I was here almost a year ago.
You were.
So that's a cool timestamp. Gosh, the biggest lesson that I've learned in this last year. Yeah, I've learned how to let myself lead the way.
I like that. And
that's like a humbling journey. That's an empowering journey. It can be a scary journey. Yeah. It's like the most fulfilling thing I've ever experienced. Absolutely. And it just continuously takes me to this edge, which again, sometimes can be a lot of things. Overwhelming, unfamiliar, like
overstimulating,
yes. It can also be like the most spectacular view. Like I've never seen some of the things that I've been experiencing this last year. So yeah, I've been really learning how to let myself lead the way. And that has also helped me really appreciate and welcome in those in my life who are so close to me, who are like walking beside me, who are like hand on my back when I really need it. Like,
love you.
Yeah, like that is a parallel situation, and it really just like it brings in that paradox of like we are always ourselves and on our own journey, and also we're always connected to each other and like dancing and weaving through the path of being human. So yeah, that's been delightful and transformative.
I love that. You know where I'm going with you next.
Yeah.
What's your tea over the last year? What's the biggest spiritual lesson that you've learned or like had to really like grapple with?
For me, it's definitely been allowing myself to be big and be seen as big and to take up space and to allow myself to receive. Like receiving has been huge for me. So receiving heartbreak, criticism, critique, allowing what doesn't serve me to let go and like bless and release that. And then with that, it's also receiving the space to be loved, to be heard, felt, seen, honored, to be celebrated, to be taken care of. And first and foremost, taking care of myself and allowing myself like that space to be big, but within myself. I think that's the biggest thing is I look so much to the world to be like, how can I help you? How can I show up for you? How can you feel loved? How can you be seen? How can you be felt? How can you be honored? And I leave myself behind a lot. And I've had a year of almost embodying like that and attracting situations where that's happened, but it's really just been allowing the space to like, it's not yours. You don't have to carry it.
You don't.
But you should pick up is your own shit.
Your own shit. Oh my gosh.
And your own self and your own heart and your own everything and your own worth, and you got to carry it, and you got to carry it with grace, and you got to carry it with kindness, and you got to carry it with confidence.
100%.
And that has hands down been my teacher over the last year, and I'm still loving that this year's not over. But a year ago, I could say that I've had a full year of rich, well-steeped tea.
Well-steeped.
Well-steeped tea.
You're doing good on the
Yeah.
tea. You're doing really well on the tea.
God.
Yeah. So I've been loving that. And I think, one thing I've always loved is growing pains because it means you're growing.
It does mean.
So when I was little and I would like feel growing pains, it was like a crazy feeling because I'm like, oh, this like hurts. And like, but I loved it because it was witnessing growth in action.
It was the confirmation you
needed. Well, everybody has it. Like, there's no such thing as something not growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's dead if it's not growing.
I was going to say, if it's alive, it's growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that, I think that allowing myself to feel the growing pains and not judging them or rushing through them or putting my growing pains on pause to help someone else with their growing pains. Because at some point you can't do it. It's like doing sit-ups and expecting the other person to get abs.
I like that. I like that.
So
it came off the tongue so eloquently.
It's been doing my own work and allowing others to do theirs, and by doing my own work, it allows other people to see that it's possible and
100%.
see that it's practice.
100%.
Yeah. So that's been my year.
I like that. For me, I'll say, and it's funny because I was having a conversation with Lou recently, like maybe 2 months back, and it came to me that I realized I had become a defeatist. I didn't realize I felt defeated anytime I would strive to accomplish something that was outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it was because there were instances after instances in the past where maybe I would try something new, it wouldn't work out, and I would automatically associate a meaning of, well, it's a me thing. I'm not good enough, or I don't have what it takes. And it kind of became like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Because I began to kind of internalize this defeatist mentality, and then it became like, well, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah.
And talking to Lou a couple months ago, we were chopping it up, and it kind of came through naturally as we were like just talking about some things, and I realized like I'm so capable. That was a big thing for me to like come back to knowing. It wasn't even a learning, it was a remembering.
Yes, absolutely.
And I was like, I'm actually really capable. I thought about times in high school where I would put my mind to something, or times where I like manifested something that seemed impossible. And I'm like, I can do this. Yeah. You know what I mean? So for
it's okay to do it.
And it's okay to do it. Learning to hold space for yourself while you realize and you kind of cope with being okay to do the things, you know? So I'm proudly announcing I'm no longer a defeatist.
Let's go.
I got my shit together.
Let's go.
I am capable. I know what I can,
You're an achievist.
I'm an achievist, not a defeatist. Are you kidding me?
Let's go.
Literally. So, I like that. I'm an achievist now. I'm admitting it to the world. You guys are hearing it firsthand.
Day one.
Day one of Sakira being an achievist. And it's kind of exciting because now I'm thinking about all the things that I want to do that I would never even fathom trying to do before because I didn't
what's
think.
Something that you're achieving in this next year?
in this next year, I'm achieving so much growth with my brand and just business success. Because I feel like my life is pretty good. Like I have pockets of life that could use work, but my focus right now has really been like growth. You know, focusing on success as far as like how many people am I helping? Like how many countries am I servicing? Like I think about these things.
Yeah.
Right now it's the UK and it's America. I'll take it because it's another country outside of America.
Yeah.
But I want to do like all the countries. I want people who don't even speak English to watch me with a translator. Like yes. 100%. You know what I mean?
Vibe translates.
Vibe translates. It needs no definitions. It needs no explanation. And so I want that to be a thing. And before I used to think like, well, who's going to want to watch me? Because like maybe they have heard what I said already. They don't need to hear it again. Or like maybe it won't hit for them. But it's like, why wouldn't it? For those who are meant to hear and receive, why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That defeatist mindset is such a game changer when you recognize that you're in it.
Yep. Thanks for the loved ones who help make that clear to us.
Thanks for the loved ones who help make that clear to us.
It's
Absolutely.
Helpful. It's helpful to see that. Okay, this brings me to a question I have.
What's your question?
We've been talking recently about dust. We've been talking recently about residue. And yeah, that metaphor of like dusting yourself off so that dust doesn't impede your vision, that dust doesn't cloud up your space.
Absolutely.
And you know, as you're walking forward into the world, into the growth that you're so excited to achieve, and into the people that you're so excited to be with and share it with, what does it mean to leave the dust behind? The dust of our past experiences, the dust of our old beliefs, the dust of the things that haven't happened in ways that we have been so excited for that to happen. So my question here is twofold. One, what is some dust you're leaving behind? What is some dust you are absolutely
Same reaction.
dusting off your shoulders? And how are you doing that? What are some of the things that help you dust off?
Oof. You want to lead with this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm all
Water.
ears.
Water.
Drink
If you haven't
water.
had any water, drink some today.
Not mine.
Let's go.
Let's do a little.
Let's go. Everybody
Let's do it. Like water.
together now.
Lead by example, you know.
Together now.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So water is how I first dust off. Music, laughter,
Ooh.
loved ones.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
When in doubt, call someone.
Heavy.
Text someone.
Heavy.
Ask
Phone a
yourself.
friend.
Phone, and if you can't get a hold of anyone, phone yourself.
Phone yourself.
Phone yourself.
Talk to
Befriending
yourself.
you.
You got a first friend.
Dialing
Okay.
911 Alysha.
Yes. Hi, it's me.
I've made
Let's
it here.
talk.
What's up?
And then like calming down, because when you're dusting off, you're literally becoming aware of something that's got to go. So you're up against your own, what could come up as guilt, shame, doubt, fear, attachment, insecurity.
Yeah.
You know, and then from there, once you sit with that long enough, and you're able to like detach yourself and stop the judgment and slow down the like bleeding, so to say, of just like, you know what, like there's a lot here.
Yeah.
And how am I going to clean all this up? And I have to clean all this up right now. And then you get that anxiety of just like, how am I going to do this all? A little bit at a time.
One day at a time.
What's even the first thing you can do? First, calm down. First, find the first good thing that makes you feel good. For me, water. Take a shower, get in some water, drink some water.
Be around water.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Yeah.
Like little bits here and there. What can you first do? Then from there, music. You know?
Good.
What's a
vibes.
song that you just need to, and even if it makes you feel something,
Right.
makes you angry, makes you sad, makes you whatever, just get something moving, because that's creating movement for the dust to come off. Because dust doesn't just go away by itself. You have to remove it. There needs to be movement. There needs to be like action. Then calming down, phoning a friend. If you can't phone a friend, call yourself.
Call yourself.
And you're the only one that's going to get you through the dust off period fully, you know?
100%.
And then from there, I think it's like just a lot of forgiveness for yourself and for the allowance of whatever caused the dust.
Sure.
Because you allowed it to happen
allowed it.
and you participated in it, but you're also taking action to get rid of it. So I think that for me, it's just slowing down and like cleaning up, you know? So like, what does cleaning up look like? What does cleaning your house look like? What does making your bed look like? What is doing one good thing for yourself? That is removing dust for me. And it's allowing the forgiveness of whatever caused it to be there, and whatever your participation is to be there. And then to just, by cleaning it up, you're loving the situation, you're forgiving the situation, you're healing the situation, you're mending whatever caused it to be there, including laziness, procrastination, whatever it is, like a person, a job, a day in traffic, whatever it is, know? Like, you just allow yourself to do things in small bits that get you to feeling better, cleaner, lighter, fresher, easeful, and definitely just more forgiving. Like, I think that even when we clean our house, we're like, oh, how did we let this get this way? It's like, oh, well, because you were working all day. You can name all the ways in which you allowed yourself to get there. But it's like, you can either spend your time guilt tripping yourself and blaming all the things that allowed it to all compile, or you can just spend a little bit of time picking some things up, dusting some things off, wiping some things down, cleaning it off with water. Like, it's just... those are my healing points for sure.
So what's some dust you're dusting off?
So some dust I'm dusting off that feels good is bringing back to like the beginning of our conversation, is just like allowing myself to stop doing others' work for themselves. Like, everybody is capable and has the right tools, whether they know what they are and know how to use them. Everybody is equipped with what they need.
100%.
Ultimately, you know? And I think for me, I'm allowing myself to help and serve the world around me. But first and foremost, it's to help and serve myself, and allowing myself to let everybody else have their life and their work and their everything, and to remove myself as like a player in it, like a part of it, and just to be like, what do you need today? How can I help you today?
Gotcha.
Which is me.
Which is me.
Yeah.
I'm the you.
I'm the me.
I'm the me.
I'm the me.
I love that.
Beautiful. Do you want me to go next? I can go next. So the first question, everything you said, and I'll emphasize what really helps me to move through dust. So everything you said, but I like to focus on internal awareness. So I think to myself a lot about, like you said, what ways did I show up and partake in contributing to the dust showing up?
Yeah.
Before, I was a person who always wanted to point the finger.
Yeah.
You put the dust there, like you made the dust come.
Yeah.
And accountability is a whole other topic. Like, yes, we can all be accountable for the ways in which we put dust on other people, but I allow the dust to sit there and to like germinate and to become even more, because I feel like dust attracts more dust. So it's just like a dust situation.
Is it a dust bunny?
It's a dust bunny. You know what I mean? And I do feel like sitting back and kind of like doing that internal reflection of like, okay, how did I play a role in letting the dust accumulate? When I walked past the corner where the dust was and I didn't do something about it. You know what I mean? And then, like you said, the guilt. Because I have such a bad guilty complex. I'm always like, I should have done better. I knew better. And it's like, I have this philosophy that a person, when they truly know better,
they do better.
They do better. And people are like, well, no, this person is an adult. They know better. But it's like, to know something, when you spiritually think about like the essence of like how the Bible, for example, says like a man came to know a woman, they're talking about sex, right? Like the man came to know the woman. They're talking about procreation. That means that the man and the woman had to become one. That's what like intercourse is, right? When you know something, you become one with it to the point where it naturally operates through you. It's a knowing that you function off of. So people who are out here doing things contradictory to what people feel they should know, they don't know. They may have knowledge of something. They may have heard concepts, but to know it means you're one with the concept, and a lot of people are not one with certain things. You know? And so I have to bring it back to what I was talking about. I have to remind myself, like, if I knew better, I would do better. When I walked past the dust, if I knew that I should be picking it up, it would have been done. I didn't know that I needed to pick it up. I knew that something needed to be done, but like you said, procrastination, all of these things. And then every step of the way, when you're going through that intrinsic process with yourself, Forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to like point the finger at yourself. A lot of times why we point the finger at another person for our dust is because we don't want to see the role we played in it. And then when you do finally see the role, it's like, holy shit. It's like this avalanche of emotion and overstimulation, where you're just like, wait, so I really did this to me?
Sure.
I'm the culprit. You know in Scooby-Doo, when they pull the mask off the monster and it's like the person that they saw walking around earlier, it's like, it's you? So I'm looking at the mask, I'm taking it off, and then in the reflection, it's like, it's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so to capitalize now on your second question, some dust that I am currently working to rub off is like the dust of not knowing my worth or my value.
Okay, I'll second that.
Yeah.
I'll dust off for that.
You're dust off for that.
I'll dust off for that.
There were so many instances where I accepted things.
Yeah.
Treatment, behavior, experiences, you name it.
Yeah.
That were not a reflection of the worth that I know myself to have now.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so, like, that wasn't even like you sweep the floor, the dust is gone. It's like you sweep, you mop, you go back in with the broom, and then you like you get the machinery.
Like you get down on your hands and knees and you make sure,
and you scrub
because you don't use other tools, you use yourself.
Ooh, I like that.
Like you can use the tools to help,
but ultimately,
the last wipe is your own effort.
It's your own effort.
Yeah.
You're so big on action. I love that.
Yeah.
Because what else are you doing?
Yeah.
What else are you doing?
That's her Capricorn stellium. What else
are you doing?
The knowing and
You're just talking about it. You're just talking about it.
Right.
Then what are you doing?
Application is
how does it happen? If nothing's happening, how does it happen? That word.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Niche.
I want to hear it. Like that's what I'm waiting for. Tell me your two answers.
I feel and resonate with a lot of what you guys are saying. What I would love to expand on from that point is I feel like there's this layered system in following the dust crumbs to kind of understand like how did one lead to the next. And I think that what you're saying of like my self-worth is a generation point of me allowing that, and then from there, you know, maybe I felt guilty for this, and so then I allowed some more dust here. It's like this stackable experience, and I find that to be so helpful and healing to really trace it back to the root, because I feel like once that thing gets tapped of being like, oh dang, I'm just not there for me. That's how that happened. Like there feels like there's this incredible and very organic way of like, oh, okay. So then like I feel much more whole. I can feel much more of myself, like the parts of me. Because you said something like, when we know better, we do better. I might conceptually know better, and let me tell you, I do.
Logically, I can sit there all day and
I'm sitting here being like,
I know the things.
And I'm saying the things, and I'm giving other people that advice.
And I'm just like ghostly embodying them. Like I'm doing the actions, but it's like...
So I think that that's a good thing to account for. I do know, in some parts of me know.
Yeah.
But maybe not all parts of me.
The necessary parts.
So what are the parts? What are the parts of me that don't know that I am so fulfilled in myself for myself? What are the parts of me that really know, like, my time is so worth it to just, like, be mine? Mm-hmm. All of these different pieces come from very deep parts of ourselves, I think. And so for me, following those breadcrumb trails, those dust bunny trails back to that place, like, gosh, there's just such a wholeness that already is there for us at all times, and it feels like that's something I can access. Water helps me do that. Music helps me do that. Like, there are avenues that help me, like, go into the nooks and crannies and just witness and learn from that in myself. So those are really, really helpful things. Love helps me do that. Just being loved. Yeah. Wow, guys.
What a gift.
Wow. What a gift.
It really is about, like, it does such good work.
Powerful.
Yeah, but I think I think to that point, I think there's a safety that love provides to us to go to those places, to look, to be with, and to, like, welcome in very compartmentalized versions of ourselves.
Well, I think it turns judgment into curiosity.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Correct.
Yeah.
Such a poetic way to express that.
Very well said. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, safety really promotes curiosity.
But you
Okay.
have to feel safe to explore. I just wanted to say
You
that.
have
But
to feel safe to explore.
your second question.
But to your point, let's go on that one. When we don't feel safe, that's, I think, the protect in, the like lock down these
Well, it's the
different
fear-based
versions of
emotions for
ourselves. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are debilitating
Yeah.
as fuck. Literally.
Yeah. And
I have a question
Yeah.
for us after you answer your question.
Okay. The last part of this question, what am I dusting off?
Mm-hmm.
I'm dusting off the guilt of
I can
the
just
hard times. Like my hard times, other people's hard times. I'm dusting off the guilt and the fear and the doubt and the forgetfulness that I've had for my own self, my own wholeness, that has clouded me from really like receiving the life that I'm stoked to be building, receiving the love that I'm stoked to be experiencing and sharing. I think those are the dust bunnies that don't speak to the wholeness that I have. And I'm really gonna dust those off.
Absolutely. And I love that.
Let's do it. Let's really, everybody, take
I've
a
been
second.
dusting. Even Lou's dusting.
Yeah,
Dust
dust it.
I love you guys. We are dust free.
Yeah,
not dust free.
But
Not
dusting.
Not yet.
We are
We're
active
dusting.
dusters.
We are active
dusters.
You see that important word? Active.
Because
That's
action.
it. But that's
Because
also
what else are you doing?
Because what else
what else
are
are
you
you
doing?
It'll be our whole lives long.
Yeah,
We
I
will
hope so.
continue to be great dusters because we always clean our house. You don't clean that once and it's done forever.
At this point, change me from Sakara to Swiffer because literally. Literally. I know what tool you don't want to be. I'm going to be a Swiffer.
You can be a Swiffer.
You can be anything you want to be.
You're a fan and a feather?
I'm a fan and a feather.
What do you want to be?
Like a hose.
Power wash. You're just getting in
No,
there.
I want to be a hose on any setting. Do you know what I mean? Like the changeable head.
Yeah, the little sprinkles,
You can do
sprinkles.
anytime, but it's a hose.
Yes.
But you have that power capability too,
Straight
so
up.
like fuck around and find out. Like,
Straight up, absolutely.
But my question for you guys, that was so funny.
Like a hose.
Like a hose, like yeah, straight to the come on, like
Bring the water.
Come
for
on.
sure.
Nice attribute to like the water essence that we were talking about too. But my question is, talking about like dust and cleansing ourselves of the dust. What is one thing that you feel makes you feel the most safe to work through your dust? It could be a knowing, it could be a physical thing, it could be a person. It like whatever your thing is that makes you feel the most secure to work through your dust. What does that look like, or what is that?
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
You go first.
I'm ready
Jen.
on this one. Okay. Cool. All right. Umbrella, it's love. It's 100% love. And it is the unconditionality in that love. That is safety. It's like, I will watch you messy. I will love you raw. I will love you right where you are, right here, right now. And I won't forget you for where you're gonna go. And like that is exceptional. It's incredible. And I have to say that like I've had this in my sisters. I've had this in my
One of
friends.
them is me.
What
My
is
sister
you?
Is me.
My
Sisters,
real
by the
sister.
way.
My
Real
real
life.
sister.
Same mom,
Gosh.
same dad. We're not fucking around here.
She's right. She's right.
True story.
I've been really, really lucky
Yeah.
to have that in my sisters and in my family in many ways. In my friends.
Yes.
Like wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I love you guys.
I'm really blessed that I have a partner who really does this for me in a way I've never experienced in partnership.
That is a beautiful thing.
And
Way to change up the game, Niche. Wow.
yeah, he teaches me a lot about what safety can be like and what it can mean in a really strategic, like focused way.
Super masculine.
Super powerful. And it's really explicit. Like it's really explicit where he's just like, I'm gonna show up as much for the rocky parts as I will for everything that I listen to you talk about. And I think there And it's been really new for me to trust that someone has the capacity to do that for me in partnership. But that spaciousness, it's like, dang, then I'm going to get curious. And it's a vulnerable curiosity. Because you're like, I don't know where I'm going. And I have to, like, hands off the wheel of the ship that I think I have. But, like, I really have to be like, okay, well, then I'm going to go explore here. And I think that safety, and I'm really thinking about, like, kiddos, like, when we have little kiddos around and you're going to, like, create safety for them, safe spaces for them. You're going to really hold up a good boundary so that their exploration is uninhibited. Because it's safe. Like, you get to hold something they don't have to hold. They don't have to, like, spend their time and attention protecting the boundaries of. You have that. Their focus and freedom gets to be in play and in curiosity and exploration. And I think that's a really beautiful aspect of something I'm finding a lot of safety and up-leveling in.
I
love that.
What?
I love that.
And
I don't
like,
even know the question anymore.
I'm like,
now I'm just watching your podcast. Like,
literally.
I love that.
No, I did like that a lot, and it kind of did distract me from it a little bit too. But you brought it back when you were talking about feeling safe. So I was saying, what makes you feel safe to work through your desk?
I mean, gratitude for everything you just said, and 1,000% our family. Like, oof. If I'm not calling my entire family call list every single day going home from work, there's a problem.
There's a problem.
Like, every single day without fail, I go down my call list, and at some point I will check in with every single one of my family.
That's
Close
really
family.
loving.
I mean, I could absolutely extend it to the entire contact list of my family. But our family is truly incredible at cultivating safe places. Like, it is, I have never felt unsafe in my family of just being like, exactly where you are, exactly who you are, exactly how messy, perfect, amazing, wonderful, raw, feisty, irritated, cranky, sad, underslept, overslept, whatever. Like, our family holds it down for safety for me, which has allowed me to find it myself. So when people aren't pinging with the phone and I'm driving home and I'm like, all right, well then, like,
I got me.
What am I doing? What do I want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? And then I start the conversation with myself. Like, I am not scared to talk to myself. Let me tell you, she's a great lady. Love me.
She's a great lady.
Love me. Love hanging out
loud
with
talk
me.
to yourself.
Love hanging out with me.
Absolutely.
And if you don't love hanging out with you, talk to me and I will absolutely find the ways to help you love hanging out with yourself.
True story.
But it's finding safety within myself. And I think that I do that by allowing it to be okay to feel safe with myself and not needing other people. And letting it go that I don't need to call everybody on the way home and I don't need to interact with everybody all the time, and that there's going to be a moment where I don't have that gift anymore because I'm going to lose people and people are going to pass on and relationships are going to end and there's going to be things that phase out, and like there's an impermanence to life. And so it's allowing yourself the grace, vulnerability, and trust that, like, there's going to be things coming in and out of your life, but what you always have is yourself.
100%.
So I think finding safety for me is just remembering that, and that, like, you're your first hammock.
You are.
You know, like, yes, you create space for the world around you, and we've had it done for us, and we will continue to do it for others, but you're the only one that's going to learn what safe means for you.
Yeah.
And safe means different for
Everybody.
Yeah.
So true.
100.
So
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and I think for me, it's that knowing. And to you, with what you were saying, with like embodying that knowing and it becomes one, it is truly that knowing. Like, it is actually okay for everyone to have their own version of safety, and for my version of safety to change constantly.
For
Like,
sure.
some days I'm like, you know what is safe? I am in bed. I am chilling.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am not getting out of bed. I am watching TV. I am sleeping. Other days I'm like, hear me out. I'm jumping out of a plane.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
And like right now.
I'm
true.
ripping a new piercing.
Yeah.
Hear me out. I'm getting on the back of a motorcycle. Hear me out. I'm laying on a beach.
I like that.
That is what safety is, because I'm trusting myself in every scenario
Yeah.
as much as I need to show up in that scenario.
Beautiful.
So if I'm laying in bed, I'm trusting myself, girl, you are about to lay in bed the best that you were gonna need right now, and I sleep and I chill, and it's everything I need. Like, I'm fulfilled in that. And I don't have full 100% confidence every single day, all day, of that safety, which is how I reach out and how I interact and ask the world to interact with me. That's when I call the friends and I do the things and I go out and, you know, all the rest. But I think that safety is cultivated truly by just remembering that knowing of, like, you have your safety all the time. Like, you're never not safe. And if you don't feel safe, it's remembering that, like, you're always safe. And you're always enough, and you're worthy of that safety, and how can you find it a little bit for yourself in that moment?
I love that.
So that's absolutely how I find my safety.
I want to, like, capitalize on something you said before I talk about how I find my safety. You said something that was so fire just now, and it made me think about the fact that safety not only looks different for different people, but it also is different in every now scenario.
So true. It changes.
You hit something right on the head for me personally. Like, there are days where I'm in bed and I'm not moving.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever feels good. I'm going to vibe how I vibe, and that feels safe.
Yeah.
There are days where I'm like, I'm on the grind, I'm being productive, I'm getting things done.
Yeah.
It feels safe to do
Yes,
so.
Sure.
There are days where I've gotten piercings that I would have never thought to get, but it felt safe to do so that day.
Yes.
You know? So I really, really love that, because I never really gave it much thought about, like, beyond, like, the feeling of safety, but like, there are times and places for different levels of safety.
Because who's defining it but you?
It's your own safety.
Like,
it's your own safety.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain safeties that I understand. You know, like breathing, you know?
Sure.
Like, how to save your life and or others and the world around you. You know, like, I understand levels of safety. Like, if I'm on a plane and you're telling me how to survive, I'm listening on how to survive. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be like, hear me out. We could try this. No,
Or maybe not. Like, no.
Maybe not, because I don't know anything about that. And that's fine, because there's certain things that, like, there is intrinsic laws about safety. You know, just of this world that we live in, these bodies we hold, like, how they operate, what they need, what they don't need, all the rest. But ultimately, like, who's defining it but you, you know? And, like, I'm never going to look at you and be like, girl, that is not safe. That's just not my definition of safe. And maybe it's not that definition of safe right then. And maybe, like, in those moments, like, I have a fear that's triggered in me and I want to protect you and keep you safe.
Yeah.
But then that's just love, and that's fine. But it's like, that will never be my definition of safety. Like, that's your safety.
It's yours.
We can, you know, go back and forth of what I want for you and what I don't want for you, and vice versa. But ultimately, like, it is your decision to make, and it is your definition to create. And, you know, ultimately, you know, I trust that everyone has the capability to define their own safety.
100%.
You know? And, like, there's gonna be conflicts, and, like, I agree with that, I don't agree with that, but it's like,
agree to disagree at this point, because my safety is mine and yours is yours, and just leave it at that.
Exactly.
I wonder, though, how much more us contributing to our own safety as we move through a day, as we move through a year, can contribute to the safety of our whole world. I really wonder, like, what our vibrational safety could contribute to ourselves, and our respectful, like, our respect of each other's safety, and the very definitions of that would just up level the safety that our world has in itself. And I mean, that's a real curiosity, but it's one I would love to keep, because
You should keep that.
Yeah.
And let's, like, update each other as we learn more about that, because that's actually really profound. I like that a lot. And I do feel like safety of the world starts with safety within a person.
Yeah.
And it's a catalytic effect. Almost
Well, when you feel safe, you allow others to feel safe. You want others to feel safe. It's like you creating that world
space
for the littles, you know?
For the
Like,
littles.
you want them to feel safe. And ultimately, like, I think we as a collective want to feel safe, and we want others to feel safe, and we get, you know, frustrated, sad, angry, you know, vengeful, whatever, insert word here, when others aren't safe. And so there's a trigger point there. So absolutely, I would love to just embody, like, the enactment of a collective safety, you know, and know that, like, we're all doing this together.
Literally.
There's not a human
We're
on
all
this planet
doing
that is
this.
doing something different
That's
than
so
one
real.
of us. Like, we're all trying to survive. We're all trying to love. We're all trying to be loved.
Yeah.
Like,
We're all trying to figure
We're
it
trying
out.
to feel safe. Like
Yeah.
we're all doing this
Trying
together.
to have the right to
Yeah.
our own safety.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you guys. Well, to answer the question, it's kind of twofold. So it's like a little bit of a story time for the viewers, but it's also answering the question too.
Okay.
So the first time I truly felt safe with people who I didn't grow up with,
Mm-hmm.
because my uncle is somebody I feel super safe with.
Yeah.
But you two,
Oh, girl,
like I could cry. I remember.
you can.
I can cry if I want to. I remember being at your house last year, and it was my first time in Cali, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm there. And the amount of freedom, because I think for me, I equate safety a lot with freedom.
Yeah.
When I feel like
Choice.
somebody's too,
Yeah.
and like wanting to, like, this is what you do. I can't feel safe to be me.
Yeah, for sure.
And you both have done such an amazing job, not only as like being the hostesses of the fucking year, but
Well, you're returning the favor right now that we're in New York.
literally, and I'm happy,
Coast.
more than happy
Coast
to
to
do
coast
it.
hostess.
Coast to coast hostess. I love it for us. But you guys did such a great job at like creating a safe space for me. I remember Nichelle was like, follow your heart. And you know, people say it until it's time for you to do it. When it was time, you were nowhere to be found. I was outside in her backyard with a freaking robe on. And she was doing her own thing. You were napping. I would come and she's like, yeah, I just woke up from a nap. I'm like, you're so cute. You're like, hi, you want to sleep in my guest room? Like, have at it. What do you want? You want me to cook for you? And I'm like, those things, that generosity, that like, I love you for you and I will do what you need. And if you need space, you will have space. Like, that makes me feel so safe.
Yeah.
Because it's autonomy.
Oh my God. Autonomy. Can we talk about how that makes a person feel safe?
We can. I would love to. That sounds
Oh my
really
God.
good.
Lead the way, honey bunny. Do your thing.
Okay. Well, I really, really appreciate what you guys were saying about like each of us having our own definitions of safety
Yeah.
and like the way that shout out for the ice cream truck.
Love an ice cream truck.
How there is such a right to our own safety.
Yeah.
To define our own safety, to choose it, to have what we need, to fulfill it. That's human, I think. I really think. So the autonomy of our lives is like the room. It's the room to be. It's the room to breathe. It's the room to decide, like, what is it for me in this moment? Because nobody knows you better than you.
Nobody knows you better than you.
I never. Although I love knowing you. Every day.
love
It's
you.
a wonderful thing. But like, you're always growing.
Yeah.
You're always growing. I've known you my whole life. Literally
Whole
every
life.
day.
Whole life.
What a gift. You're growing every single day. I get to keep getting to know you my whole life long.
That's beautiful.
What an actual
What a
privilege.
gift. It is truly, like,
It's
we
an
talk about
honor.
it all the time. We talk about it all the time. It is our favorite thing to do is witness each other and then talk about, like, I get to have this.
Yeah,
And we all do.
Yeah.
it's true. Here's an interesting point though. I might think that I know you because I've known you my whole life long in your life. That takes away your autonomy to continue to be and become.
Yeah. I can see that.
If I continue to think of you only in these one ways, that might
Well, the perception of that. takes
might
away from
be
me.
that might
Yeah.
be constricting in some way, shape, or form. Might step on your autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
My, like inability to check my own, like, oh man, I want you to. You're jumping out of a plane. I'm freaking out.
That's not
true.
safe.
That's not true. By the way,
I was like,
I'm
you jumped
next
out
to
of the
her
plane
jumping
together.
out of that plane.
You
But
are badass. I just want to throw that out there. But like, okay.
But yeah, like for me to support and contribute to your definitions of safety, your definition of yourself, your autonomy, like that's freedom. That's such a special thing. And this is also something that came up when we were talking about like how that ripples.
Yeah.
You said something around like, us blaming each other is like pretty usually a reflection of us being really judgmental or blaming of ourselves. And so that domino effect can happen super easily. Well, the same goes for us being really safe. And a really special trauma therapist, Resma Menachem, has done a lot of research around how our bodies interact with each other in terms of dysregulation and harmonization. So like we can really dysregulate each other if we're like in a state, and you can feel that, like just the way we treat each other, perceive each other, or just kind of energetically around each other. We can also be harmonizing.
Yeah.
And humans have done this the whole time.
Yeah.
When we sing
Nature
together.
does it.
Yeah.
Nature does
all
it.
the time. There's a rhythm.
Yeah.
There is a harmony. It doesn't mean that it's identical.
No.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. But there's a harmony to it. And I think that there's a lot of respect for autonomy in that harmony.
I love that.
And I just continue to learn much, much more about that. Usually through my closest relationships. Certainly in myself. But then absolutely do I choose to be a person in the world who contributes to that for anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. That's who I would love to be in this world and at this time. And I'm learning every day, like all the things that it takes
But you're
to do
doing.
that. But I'm
doing
trying
it too.
and I'm doing it, and it's deeply important. So yeah, autonomy, safety, freedom.
So what you said is not linked to the point that I'm about to make, but it reminded me of it, right? Have you ever been in a scenario where a person wanted to, let me rephrase, not wanted to rob you of your autonomy, but they did things that maybe could be perceived as robbing you of your autonomy, but it was controlling. But deep down inside, it was maybe because they didn't feel like they had control of themselves.
Sure.
1,000.
I think that's-
who hasn't.
I just wanted to bring it up.
Who hasn't?
'Cause it's super
there's
relatable.
levels of it on, just day to day in a coffee shop of how someone treats you, up to like your deepest relationships, down to yourself. Like we take our own autonomy away from ourselves, and I'm like, girl, what are you doing?
That's the only way we ever lose autonomy.
Exactly.
When we give it away or we take it away
Right,
from
right,
ourselves.
right.
And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
so yes, I don't think there's a
There you go,
single human being on this planet that feels like they're like, never had that.
never
Don't
was
know her.
me.
Don't know her.
Never was
No,
me. We never
no,
met.
no.
Never been there. Never done that.
What reminds you of that in terms of having that experience of stepping on each other's, or like the experiences that we're having internally? I think this goes back to the dust,
Mm-hmm.
but the experiences we're having internally starting to encroach on each other with controlling or influencing, or even subconsciously with one another.
So I'll go a little bit deep. I'll get a little vulnerable with you guys.
Thank God.
My mom, growing up, was very controlling, with great intentions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's typically where
Where it stems from.
Yeah.
Typically, because there are some people who don't have good intentions,
No.
and that's another story.
No.
She had great intentions, very controlling. She had what you termed earlier as like fear that is trying to convert itself into I care about your safety.
Totally.
But it was a trigger for her
Right.
in certain things. It's like, that's not safe. And it was her being based and almost like riddled in fear, dictated and governed how she was as a parent.
Yeah.
And I was always able to see her heart, but I also couldn't, like, her heart wasn't the deterring factor from the behavior that was being exhibited as
Correct.
well,
Yeah.
you know? And so it's actually like, I'm like this many years old, and I'm learning to not just let go, but forgive.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when you misunderstand a person's intention, because to me it just seemed like you're a control freak, like you're
Right.
doing too much. But now I see like you're doing too much because you felt like it's the necessary thing to do because your insides are not okay.
Yeah.
So you can't possibly be okay to help me be okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like hurt people.
Yeah.
And it's like she unintendedly was hurt with fear
Yes.
and projected that hurt onto her children because she's like, I don't want you to hurt like me. I don't want you to be scared of life.
Yeah.
So just avoid it. Like, you know what I mean?
Ooh.
Yes.
Just avoid it. You're good. You don't need it. You got me. Like that was her vibe. And I love having her, but like I need life too.
Yes, and you are actually so much more equipped to be in life in ways that maybe she wasn't because of many of the things that she learned and gave you.
Yeah.
And to know that like we're also possibly, that dust is carrying onward.
Yeah.
It is a forgiving process.
Yes.
What a tender truth it is that it comes from such deep love.
Yeah.
And what a sweet thing for us to like ground in, that's where it comes from, so we can return to that place of like, this is loving here.
Yeah.
through that love, though, may we be bold.
Mm.
May we be bold in our choosing and our forgiving and also our letting go. I'll also get vulnerable in a mom share. Why not?
Let's hear it.
Well, we
honey.
have the same mom, so
We have the same mamas.
I love that.
You can share for us, yeah.
Well, this is just something that happened a couple days ago, which was actually like a really powerful opportunity for me to re-relate to my mom's fear. And I think for me growing up, I was just like, man, I'm having a hard time watching her have such a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just difficult. And there are ways that I learned how to relate to that, to just try to curb it, you know, try to do what I could to either distract, to be like, look over here, isn't it better? Or like, how can I help? Or whatever it is, you know?
And how can I not do something so that you don't feel fearful?
Yeah, so it's just like real.
Like, I don't want you to feel fearful, so like I'm not gonna do.
Let's self-sacrifice in the name of
Yes.
your fear.
Yes.
No.
Literally.
Oh, it's so real for me. So in my year of learning to let myself lead the way, real confronting for me for a lot of the ways in which I have learned to not do that and adopt different practices. Again, out of love. I love that woman so much.
So much.
My goodness gracious. The world
You would
that
love her.
she
I wanna meet her so I can properly love her.
Yes.
But I already love her.
Yes.
She's
I want to eat the crepes.
She makes great crepes. Oh my God, this woman. So I love her so much. I never want to see her in pain. Isn't that the place that she moves from with me, right? Yeah. I love her so much. I never want to see her in pain. Rather than, I believe in that woman. And let me tell you, I do. I believe in that woman to be so resilient and capable to create her own safety. And that is a new learning
And to
for
find
me.
her own safety.
And to find her own safety, and for me to respect her autonomy to do so. And I love like getting to have the language that we've just created here for that. I don't know that I've ever said it like that before.
Honestly. But I love it. I'm here for it.
But I really appreciate that. And a couple days ago, there was just a miscommunication. And I scared the shit out of her.
I've done it so many times.
Literally, by trying to not. By sending a text message being like, this is what's happening. And it was just misunderstood and miscommunicated. And she got freaked out. Like, multiple missed calls. That kind of
I've
freaked
been
out.
there.
You know what I mean? And you're just like, oh my God. And so it's like,
when that woman calls you more than twice, you better be near your phone.
Exactly. But I wasn't. So for like 30 minutes, she was in that experience. And then when I answered the phone and just heard her experience, I was like, holy moly. And it really like sent me into my own spiral of like, oh my God. And I was guilty. And so many things happened. Keone was with me.
Hey, Keone.
Hi, Keone. And he was just like, one, he was patient, and I appreciated that. But he said something where he was just like, I didn't hear you get curious with your mom. And I was like, in all honesty, I really didn't even dawn on me for that to be an option in that moment.
I like that.
Could I get curious with you right now? What are you experiencing? What would you need right now? How is this showing up for you? Instead of me trying to immediately jump in and I'm okay, I'm so sorry. Like, it's matching her energy there rather than staying really planted and just like, that like, I think that curiosity promotes safety and safety promotes curiosity.
I want to talk about that.
What could I contribute there? And that felt like a big moment. It really did. I saw the pattern. I saw the like domino stack in the line that has been real familiar to me. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. What else is possible?
I need to take that little tidbit of advice.
It's I'm gonna tell you, it's great. It stayed with me for days. I have not stopped thinking about it. So like that element of curiosity. I want to just thank you for sharing that tidbit about your mom. You know,
thanks.
Where
maybe
shout
someone else has a mom.
Shout out to moms.
Anyone
Mom,
who
you're
loves other
watching.
people. Like
Loving someone is vulnerable. It's such a beautiful and brutal risk, and like what an incredible gift to give each other, to love each other, and also to allow each other.
To love and to allow.
To love and to allow. And like, poof.
Oh my God. I love that. And I feel like it's a whole full circle conversation because some of the things we were talking about yesterday, I feel like is kind of being further delved into, if that's a word, today. and I'm like here for it. But I want to capitalize on what you said because it was in my head and then you said it and I'm like, we're going to talk about it. Safety and curiosity.
Yeah.
There are so many times in my personal relationship where I'm not curious what my partner has to say or what he may be going through because I don't feel safe in that moment to even muster up a curious thought.
In a relationship, I've been there.
Yeah.
Like,
you know?
Yeah.
And I never thought about it before because I would think to myself after, like, well, I could have maybe tried to empathize or like maybe try to understand from his perspective, especially when things calm down and I'm like more level-headed. But that's when I feel safe because it's not happening in that moment. But I feel like I want to ask you guys a question. What is your take on connecting with somebody romantically and not feeling safe?
All right.
Would you term that a dusty bunny?
Let's ask that question one more time.
What is your take
Readjust.
on
connecting with somebody specifically romantically?
Like, let me fix my hair. Like, I feel
I'm
like
gonna
I'm like,
recalibrate.
we might need a new episode for this one. Okay,
She's like, we can go in
hold
for that.
on. Okay, yeah.
Your take on connecting with somebody romantically,
Yes.
where you do not feel safe with this person, and I don't mean like you feel like they can't fight to protect you, they would get beat up. Like that's a whole different topic.
Yes.
I'm talking about in your interaction with them. To the point where maybe they're upset and you don't even feel safe enough to explore curiously what they might be going through. Talk to me.
It's good. It's good.
Uncle, we could get you a microphone. Just say the word.
We could.
Say the
The
word.
voice from behind the camera.
The
I was gonna
voice
say, I was
behind
gonna
the
say to the
camera.
viewers, Uncle Lou's behind the camera.
Uncle Lou is behind the camera.
Thank goodness. Okay, well, I am in an incredibly cool new paradigm of relating to someone romantically through safety. And this person is very seasoned in his devotion and exploration to that topic itself. That doesn't negate that him and I have scenarios with each other where like neither of us feel that sense of full safety in like an activated space with one another. And it's been such a collaborative learning and like reiterative process of how to do that. Is like, how do we do this in any different moment that either one of us feel like we can't find it. We can't find our safety in our expression or even in how we're being perceived. And I think that those two things for me go hand in hand. Some of the things that have worked well that I've seen. I mean, a lot of them go back to your points of like feeling
But like,
safe.
what's the relationship that you felt where you didn't feel safe?
Ooh.
Wasn't that the question?
I mean, I guess like what's your take on the concept of it?
Oh,
Not,
okay.
If you don't want to go into your specific
Yeah.
team, cool. But like,
Well, I was just gonna say I have had in every relationship I've ever had, romantic and otherwise, but we're talking about romantic. In every relationship I've had, there have been moments where I haven't felt safe. But I'll say that like it's been so much of like I haven't felt my own sense of safety.
Yeah.
Like it's just always that.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single time. So like, you know, I'm grateful that I haven't had a ton of scenarios in my life where someone is actively making me like feel unsafe.
Yeah.
Where I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay, objectively, this is not it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for that. And I noticed there's so many moments, and I did not always have that vocabulary to say, oh, I don't feel safe right now.
Yeah.
I don't feel safe to express this to you.
That's
right
new
now.
vernacular for
Because
me.
what's cool about that, how I've really kept that really black and white. I feel safe with you. I don't feel safe with you. Well, doesn't our sense of safety change all the time?
It
Sure does.
Doesn't it though?
Sure does.
Isn't that true for someone else? So couldn't it be true that I could still, like in wholeness, feel very safe with you, but I don't feel safe in this moment. I don't feel safe in this topic. I don't feel safe in myself. Like those things can all show up. So I think being able to learn to meet the moment and also let the moment pass, I'd make a lot of stories around if I don't feel safe in this
that
moment, it's all over.
Done.
Everything's like lost. I catastrophize in some real ways. Or I'll bypass that. I'll really try to adjust my own self to, you know, meet the moment, meet the person so that it does feel safe.
Yeah.
Or control that person. I'm not beyond that. I'm not beyond my own manipulative like
tendencies
to try to find safety. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, as an empathetic human, isn't that the
You're
way? You're like, I want you to be okay so I can feel easier because it's a lot in the room right now.
The people pleaser is a manipulative tactic.
Let's
talk about that
It
too.
deeply is. And it's coming from a place of, I am trying to be safe right now.
Just
I'm
wanna
trying
be
to feel
okay.
safe.
Just want to
So,
be okay.
I just want to be okay.
One,
Literally.
knowing those things.
Yeah.
Literally just having like the words and the awarenesses and someone who will sit with you through them, who will be on the other side of them.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great example. Keone and I went on a walk to go see sunset. It was a lovely walk. Somehow, mid-walk, we have missed each other. There is like a real just like, I said one thing and he was just like, well, this is how I took that. And I was just like, well, I wasn't really meaning it like that, but maybe I wasn't tracking all the different ways that I was, you know, in my own dustiness or vice versa. We get to sunset, we're deep in the game. We're deep in the like, okay, well, this, that, and da-da-da. And I was just like, dang, I really just was like trying to go see sunset. And like, where are we right now? And vice versa, right? Like, we're both just looking for that nice golden horizon. And we're walking back, and I remember we're like walking back, and he's like, he asked me a question, and I say, I don't feel safe to express right now. And I know that was hard for him because he really does a lot to create safety. So I know that was hard for him. One thing that he does, which I think is helpful, is he'll like reiterate what he hears me say, which I think is helpful as a communication tactic to like, is this what you said? Did I understand this correctly?
I think that's so smart.
It's super smart. So eventually, like, we're through the walk, and I say, I just want to sit down on the ground, on the grass, and either cry or like I just need to move this like through me, and I want to like reconvene. And he's like, yeah, because he asked me another, what's up, ice cream truck? He asked me another question. He's just like, what's the vulnerable share right now in this moment? Which again, I think is like, in moments of elevation to somehow return to things that are like true and raw and, you know, but I don't think I could get to that moment in that state that I was in. So we kind of like went our separate ways for a little while, and I was on my phone, I was just writing things down, and that was helpful, just kind of trying to track my own experience and like name the things that I wasn't able to say out loud, like, you know, name the things I was hearing from him.
Instead of creating the stories and running with them.
Right, like just following, like kind of following your own tumble in terms of trying to chase it in that energy of activation. So I was writing things down. This man comes over and he just sets a glass of water in front of me. That's it.
Water.
Because water.
Because can we take a
water.
little?
Because water.
Because water.
Because water.
Like I can't even. Necessary. I like that. So he sits a glass in front of you.
He just sets a glass of water down in front of me, and one, it was water, so ultimately great.
10 points.
But two, it was just like, it's just this offer. I care about you. I care about your
The little
okayness.
things.
I care, even though we're still inside of this like little friction moment.
If you're not safe enough to communicate, you're safe enough to be loved.
Yeah.
And I'm safe, and I want you to feel safe enough.
Exactly. Just like I'm not leaving that part.
Yeah.
You and I are in a place where we're still trying to find each other, but I'm not leaving all of the rest of these things. Like, it's almost like that moment of friction or the feeling of unsafety is safe within a larger container of love.
Mm-hmm.
Can I add to this? And I'll let you finish. But this is giving like it's you and me versus the problem, not you versus me.
Yes, that part.
The glass of water is like we have an issue. Right. But we are on the same team.
Yes.
Here goes your motherfucking water.
Yeah?
Hydrate.
For sure. We got another lap. Let's go.
That's it. I'm listening.
I completely agree. I think that's exactly well said. So that, yeah, like, you know, we circled back. We shared. You know, there's other helpful moments. Like, him and I can really process for a while. And so he was like, I'm just gonna put a timer on for us because we both need to go to sleep. It like truly, like, it's helpful structural things. He's like, I'm gonna put a timer on for us. He's like, I'm gonna share. I want you to share, and then I think we'll like, you know, we'll do it. And again, it's just like moments. You're like, great. That sounds like a solid plan to move through this problem and like to still be on the same side of it. Mm-hmm. And
masterful.
He's good at his job. So I think like those moments all contribute to safety. They're all like pebbles in the bucket of like safety component. And even if there are moments of unsafety, like, can we still contribute somewhere in this container for ourselves, like to each other's safety, even if I'm gonna miss you sometimes. And to be fair, I do. I have moments where I make him feel unsafe, and that's not fun. I don't love that. There's stuff I'm still learning how to do. But I think it gets you
both to finding more safety and defining your own safety.
Absolutely.
And like finding collective safety as a partnership, and then finding your own individual, because it's gonna change. And like, I think that pushing safety sometimes is also great because it defines what safety is in those moments.
Jumping out of the plane.
Yeah.
Jumping out of the plane.
You know? Yeah. Like, it's important, I think, to do it. And I think it builds strength and it builds safety by pushing your safety. And, you know, like, I think it's beautiful that you have somebody. I mean, you have so many, we all have so many people in our lives that, you know, would bring you a glass of water, you know, in those moments. And, you know, just like last night, like you and I had like a quick little tiff before bed, you know, and went to bed, backs turned, like, good night, like, I love you, good night.
Yeah.
And then she woke me up so softly, so sweetly to get ready this morning. And like, neither one of us brought anything up. Like, there was no like, oh, I'm sorry, all these things. And in those moments, like, yeah, it's hard to tiff. And maybe in those moments there was like the touching of the boundaries of safety. Yeah. But ultimately, like, you know, it's beautiful that you have that. And I think that you finding a partner that shows up for you in those ways and almost like creates a stronger presence than you, because you create so much safety in the world and for others. So finding that is truly incredible. And I think that it's also important to remember that like we are always going to push the boundaries of safety because it's figuring out what is safe and what is not safe, you know? So like pushing those limits and being in relationships and being triggered in relationships where it's like, I don't feel safe right now, you know?
Isn't that growth too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, and that's like what's beautiful. And I think that, you know, it allows for the curiosity to come back into play. Like, I heard this differently. And like, you take each fight and you do something different. Like, you better believe the next time I'm in a tiff with someone, someone's getting water.
Yeah.
Someone's getting water.
I would
because it's, and I might need to get myself water, you know? Like, and I think it's just like, to your point, it's you and me versus this situation, this conflict, this trigger, this whatever, versus you versus me.
Right.
Like, and I think that part is so important to remember, like, same team, same dream. Like,
same team, same dream.
I know, I love that. She said that last night and I love that.
Same team, same dream.
Same team, same dream. I love that.
I want to ask you guys to capitalize on something you're saying, because it's making me think things, right? So, on the spectrum of like self-healing and safety, I'm thinking of moments where I, in the past, projected a need of safety at the expense of somebody else's like emotional capacity to like be there for me.
Sure.
Right? And like, yes, people can hold space for you when you're not feeling safe. But I don't feel like your safety should be dependent on another person to...
Well, it's because you weren't feeling safe in those moments.
Right. And it's like, I need you to do this so I can feel safe. But it's like...
But how are you creating it for yourself? And what about the situation or the person or the lack of action or whatever it is making you feel unsafe? And, you know, like, again, it's getting curious. It's finding, like, moments where... You know, and for me, like, I think that there's moments where... Like, I have found myself in so many moments interacting with others where, like, I am almost flat out, if not actually verbally demanding something from someone. Like, I need you to be this way. I need you to show up for me in these ways. I need you to act in these ways. I need you to show, prove, you know, say, do, act, whatever, to prove that this is happening so that I can feel safe or that I can feel heard or that I can feel seen, which ultimately is all the same thing. And in those moments, like, I haven't even breathed a possibility in, can I slow down for 2 seconds and regulate myself and find a moment where I can slow down enough to be like, okay, what actually do I need right now?
Sure.
And maybe it is something from someone, because it's not, you know, like, that's why we're in relationships with people. That's why we have friendships. That's why build families. That's why we go to jobs where, you know, like we are constantly interacting with the world around us. So it is part of the process to have the world, you know, interact with us.
Sure, yeah.
But I think for me, like, there's so many moments where I'm looking like or demanding from others when it's like, hold on a second, like, what do you need right now?
Right.
Remember,
And
it's
it's
the
the
same.
slow
Ask
down.
for what you want.
Ask for what you want.
I feel like it's so
and
fitting.
it's fine to ask for what you want, but like there also needs to be a second of like, are you even being an example for yourself right now? Like, if I'm demanding you to show up for me, like, and I truly feel like I'm showing up for myself as well, and I need something, then yeah, maybe there is some action of the other person or the other situation that like I am actually needing in those moments, and it is okay to ask for that. But if I'm just demanding and there's not an effort that I'm also creating for myself to be an example so that someone can actually then meet and match that so that I can receive it, instead of just me like barking and creating this almost force field to then receiving it, like I think it's, you know, it's a twofer. Like you're interacting with yourself, you're interacting with the world around you. But I think for me, I find so many moments of just being like, like, okay, am I actually saying and doing what I need right now?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and then if that all tracks, then it's okay to ask, you know, for the world around you to give you what you need.
Yeah.
But I think there's so many times where we don't pause to be like, okay, you know what, to be fair, like, I'm also not giving that to myself. So I'm also barking at you as a voice to myself.
Literally.
Yes.
The projection.
I think there's a reclamation, like a reclaiming of our own, you know, power and our own possibility to give ourselves safety when we take the time to do so. Because I also think that any request that you make for change, what you need for someone, will be so well informed by your being like, oh, this is what I need, because I'm really understanding that. I'm like finding it and giving it to myself, you know. And I also think that there is this both and situation of like, when I am expecting you to provide my safety, I'm also giving the power away for my safety to be taken from me, to live outside me, and to like not be something that I get to provide for myself or have autonomy in. So I hope that I can steady myself in my own safety prior to engaging with the world around me, and just having a good information base to know what I need and how to ask for it, make those requests for change. But I also hope that that makes it less possible for me to feel so swayed by the world in ways that like I feel unsafe and unmet, because I know that there's like a certain sequence of me studying myself first in the world and going from there.
I do feel like if we learn to be our own safety and security, we would rarely and like very seldomly need to demand it from other people.
That's what I said. Yeah. I mean, but I think in some ways, it's less of a demand, and it allows us to then receive it from the world. You know? Because I think that's the other thing too, is some people create such a safety in themselves that it's really hard for them to like receive from others, because you're just like, I'm good. I'm actually good.
Right.
Like, I'm
That's
actually
true.
so solid.
Which is
And
also
it's
like
true.
a protection, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And like,
Because you don't feel safe. It's like an illusion.
Or it's like, I've got my safety. What if you mess with it?
like it's that's really what it is. Like
big brick wall.
Yeah.
And it's not like because again, like it is autonomous. Like this is actually just mine, you know? And like you can help me feel safe, but like,
because you can describe your version of safety. It's just like, I am safe in my blanket space right now. I am safe in my chilling out. Would you bring me socks? Would you
Socks
contribute
would
to
be
my
so
safety?
safe, too.
Would you bring me socks?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Or like, I'm feeling super epic and empowered today. I'm about to go send this surf. Would you watch my back?
yeah.
So like, what a beautiful way to be in relationship and in autonomy in life when we are steeped in our own safety and then can therefore describe it.
Yeah.
And receive it.
And then probably meet each other much better.
Yeah. You save me, I save you, we save ourselves.
And we're all ultimately just fine.
I love it here. Oh my God. It's so safe. This is a safe space. If you're
This is a safe
watching,
space. My
you're in
goodness.
sacred, safe space. I have a question
Yeah.
though. I always have questions for you guys.
I love it.
So curious.
But my question is now branching off a little bit, like still kind of talking about safety, right? And we were talking about safety within the self, right? But what now do you do when you meet a person, friend, boss, partner, parent, whoever, and they are so unsafe within themselves that they don't have the capacity to provide any safety for you, and in fact, it's beyond not providing safety for you. It's like they're harming because they self-harm.
Yeah.
They're just like hurt people who are harming out of wanting to be safe and feel safe, but not being able to, or believing that they're not able to secure that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that this is a good moment of the wonderful topic of boundaries.
Ooh, boundaries.
Boundaries. I think that word is used so often.
Yeah.
And for me, it can be a little bit muddled and be like, okay, boundaries all the time. But this one feels really real. Like, in moments where there is not an alignment.
Yeah.
And I think that it is. Like, it's just like, that's not aligned. Like, it seems like
Feel
the
it.
things that you're working on and what's happening in this moment, the probability of them lining up here and now, unlikely.
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 No coincidences. No such things as
Unlikely.
coincidences.
So in that moment, I think tending to my own safety
Yeah.
means, what's my boundary here?
Mm-hmm.
What am I willing to do and what am I unwilling to do, because it will cross my own boundary of my safety. And that's why I think being really like aware of like, what does safety mean to me right now?
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I really appreciate, like, you know, in my relationship, some of those things are taught to me by watching him do it. I need a time container. That's a safe thing for me right now. So I'm gonna like create the boundary of a timer, and I'm like, respect, and also good job. But like, what are the things that are important to me in this moment that I'm going to ensure are met because I'm creating my own boundaries? So I'm putting it like, I'm not putting that power on someone else to do or not do.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure that this is what's happening, and this is as far as I'm willing to go. I think clear communication is the other one.
Ugh, I love clear communication.
Yeah.
Let's be
Say
so
what you
real.
mean.
Say what you mean. And
That's
having
what we
those
want.
things work together. I have a boundary, but I have to communicate what
Yes.
that is.
Mm-hmm.
How
And
do
if-
I know your boundaries if I don't hear them from you?
Some people have guilt behind expressing boundaries.
1,000%,
I do.
which is okay.
I
Like
do.
we all do. You know,
Yeah.
to some degree, we all do.
Dust that off,
Yes,
guys. I would
but
like to dust that
clearly
off.
communicates, and this is something that you and I talk about all the time. Gives choice.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
100.
When you clearly communicate, it gives choice.
It does.
Yeah.
Which then
Create safety.
creates safety and also creates boundaries. Like
And integrity.
exactly.
Yeah, for
like
sure, for
you
sure.
have a choice to like understand that this is where things are right now.
Yeah.
For me, this
For
is where
sure.
my alignment no longer exists in this situation.
Yeah.
And you
And
take
then-
it or you leave it.
Exactly. And then there's choices that can be made, you know? And I absolutely feel like
Yeah.
the boundary and then but like it's feeling safe enough to communicate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some people don't, and that's okay, but like it's practicing.
It's
It's saying
the
like
practice
I
of it.
don't know how to communicate a boundary right now, but
Yeah.
something's off.
It's
Yeah.
something's not
For
right.
sure.
And then we can get curious. Let's find out what that is.
Because we feel safe enough to
Yes.
get curious.
Yes,
We
there
feel
you
safe
go.
enough
Yes.
now to do so.
And I hope that maybe that's like the initial part all of us get to bring with us into the world. I feel safe enough to get curious in this moment.
Let me tell you, I'm leaving here today about to be Curious George in
Yes.
this world. Let me tell you.
Is it
I'm about to
gonna be
Blue's
where-
Clues
is it
this.
gonna
I'm
be
about
where
to
it goes?
Blue's Clues
Oh,
this world.
goodness.
This is so funny.
Yes.
I love that.
As you should.
Yeah.
As
Stay
we all
curious,
should.
friends.
Yeah.
Stay curious.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, this has been an exciting episode, you guys.
I love it.
I love this. I
I
think
love
we.
you. Thank you for
I
having
love
us.
you guys. Thank you for coming.
Mm.
Sister love on camera. Okay, so I'll give them a plug in one more time. Alysha, you know what she does. I told you earlier. If you want her, find her in my description.
Yes.
Respect. I love
Nichelle.
that.
Yes,
Go find her.
I love that.
You know what she does. You see her. If you want her, you find her in my description.
I love it.
They're beautiful and they're amazing,
I
and you
love
should connect with them any way that you can.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like,
Honestly.
share, subscribe, because I almost forgot that.
All the time.
Thank you all the time.
This magical human From the first day I saw her online, by the way,
Instagram.
I got to her through the phone.
She
Yes.
threw the
Through the phone, I
phone from
found
the
you.
other side of the country.
From the other side of the country, I found you. And
Literally.
During a pandemic.
During a
pandemic,
freaking pandemic,
like
like
a beacon in the night. It was a beautiful thing.
you were the light in the night,
Hey, we do.
and then
we
you
do.
changed my lights.
Hey,
You see what I did there? Stop it.
She does. She does. I have such immense gratitude
Love you.
for you,
Yes.
and for the gift of watching you live and grow in this world.
Same.
And
What?
creating safety.
And creating safety.
My goodness, her talents have provided me so much safety in my
Oh my
own
gosh,
life.
yes.
Thank you.
My-
And if you haven't booked a reading with her,
Please do.
please,
Please
do so.
I
It
promise
is
you.
incredible.
I promise you.
We should gift a free one to entice, but then absolutely cash her out for this.
It is
Cash
worth
her out for this.
all of that money, in the sense that you help me feel safe enough to get curious about the most vulnerable questions in my
Absolutely.
life. And I come to you when I'm like, I've reached my edge.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Literally.
I'm at my
Need
point.
to phone a friend.
And I'm
Need
like,
help.
Sakira,
Yeah,
can we please book a reading?
Yes.
And I can't tell you every single time that I have received that from you, really just been in space with you where I am
Mhm.
so empowered to get curious and to listen deeply. My whole life is touched. I'm impacted in the most honest of ways.
Yes.
And I can't shut you out. Like,
Appreciate you.
more. Like I will shut you out more, but I can't shut you out enough because it's gift. It's such a powerful offer, and I am better for it. I am better for knowing you.
I'm better for knowing both of you.
Yeah.
Like
Same.
this
Like,
moment right
without
here.
You.
Like,
You. Every day.
Yeah. Look, it's like everyone.
Woo!
And also shout out to Caitlin, our other sister.
Hi,
Who can't be here.
I pray that whoever you have in your world, and I hope you are one of those people you have in your world, you find and foster safety, and you follow curiosity with a lot of trust and good communication. Let's all
Healthy
just,
communication.
let's all just get out
Love
there and try
good
and do.
communications. Love it.
So good.
And yeah, thank you for having us here.
Yeah,
Thank you guys for coming. They
Absolutely.
came all the way from California to New York City for this episode.
Obviously.
You're welcome. I gifted you goddesses. You're welcome. I love you guys.
I love you.
Okay, you guys. So until next time, don't forget, like she said, like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. Send this to a friend that needs maybe for them to like phone a friend. Like, you get where I'm going with that? If you know a friend that needs to phone a friend, send them this episode. It's gonna help. I promise you. I love you guys. We love you guys. Until next time, peace out.